In the heart of the Midwest, surrounded by endless fields of corn, lies the small town of Haven Ridge. Known for its quiet streets and sprawling farms, the town harbors a mystery that no one dares to speak of. Farmers tell of lights in the sky, animals that vanish without a trace, and strange symbols burned into their fields. For Jack Hayes, a young documentary filmmaker, these stories were the perfect opportunity to revive his career. But some secrets are best left undiscovered. Jack drove into Haven Ridge on a warm September evening. The air was thick with the scent of fresh soil, and the golden stalks of corn stretched endlessly on either side of the road. His destination, the Gordon Farm, where the latest reports of crop circles had surfaced. The moment he stepped out of his car, he felt it, a strange heaviness in the air, like the world was holding its breath. "Don't stay out there too long," warned Martha Gordon, the elderly farm owner. "They don't like visitors." That evening, Jack set up his camera gear near the largest crop circle. A perfect, intricate spiral burned into the corn. The patterns were unlike anything he'd seen before, too precise to be man-made. As night fell, the farm became eerily silent. No crickets, no rustling leaves, just a heavy, suffocating quiet. Then, at exactly midnight, the lights appeared. Bright, pulsating orbs hovered above the field, moving in synchronized patterns. Jack's heart raced as he recorded, but the lights weren't just there to be observed. They were watching him. When Jack woke the next morning, he was back in his car. His camera equipment was gone, and his clothes were damp with morning dew. On his forearm, a strange mark had appeared, 3 intersecting lines that glowed faintly under the sun. Confused and shaken, he returned to the farm. Martha was waiting for him on the porch, her face pale. "They marked you," she whispered. "They'll come for you now." The investigation. Determined to uncover the truth, Jack spent the next day interviewing the townsfolk. Many refused to speak, but a few shared chilling tales. "My cattle were taken. I found them days later, but they weren't right. The lights follow you if you look too long. My brother stared at them once. We never saw him again. They come from the sky, but they don't just take. They leave things behind." The return to the field. That night, Jack returned to the cornfield, desperate for answers. This time, he brought a drone and a thermal camera. The crop circle from the night before had changed. New symbols had appeared, glowing faintly under infrared. As he recorded, the air grew cold, and the lights returned, brighter and closer than before. The orbs moved unnaturally fast, forming shapes in the sky that mirrored the symbols in the field. Then, Jack heard it, a low, vibrating hum that seemed to come from everywhere at once. The corn swayed violently, though there was no wind. From the center of the crop circle, a figure emerged, tall, thin, and otherworldly. Its skin shimmered like liquid metal, and its eyes were endless voids. Jack froze as it raised a hand, pointing at him. Suddenly, his vision blurred, and he was somewhere else. A room of endless light, filled with more of the beings. They didn't speak, but their thoughts flooded his mind. Images of Earth, stars, and something vast and ancient. They were searching. For what? He couldn't understand. But he felt their curiosity, their power, and their warning. Do not interfere. Jack woke in his car again, this time miles away from the farm. His equipment was gone, but the mark on his arm was glowing brighter than ever. As he drove back to town, he realized the radio wasn't picking up any stations. Instead, a single, chilling phrase repeated over and over, "We are watching." Back in Haven Ridge, The townsfolk avoided Jack. Martha refused to speak with him, and others wouldn't even look him in the eye. He left town that same day, vowing to share his story. But as he reviewed the footage he managed to recover, he noticed something strange. In every frame, the lights seemed closer than they should have been. And in the final shot, just before the camera cut out, a figure stood behind him, watching. Now, every night, Jack dreams of the cornfield, and in the distance, he hears the hum. Some truths aren't meant to be uncovered.